Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sarah and I make videos about the ADHD experience, mostly my experience since that's what I can talk on. But I find that my experience resonates with a lot of people on the internet, so I'm here to talk about it with you. And along those lines, our topic today is very relatable for those with ADHD, and it is about finding motivation. So, really quick before we get started, I have linked below my podcast feed, as I have been taking all of the audio component from my videos and turning them into podcast episodes in case you want to listen while you are driving, doing yard work, or I don't know, I don't have a third thing, so we're just gonna move on. Oh, I also linked down below my ADHD playlist, so that is there for your binging pleasure as well. So today's video was actually inspired by a tiny brief moment that I had today. This happens a lot. Let me know if I am the only one or if this happens to you too, but sometimes like an entire video, an entire conversation, an entire project, an entire like pivot in my life can be sparked and inspired by like one tiny brief moment or one word. So today I was watching a video that had absolutely nothing to do with ADHD or motivation or anything. It was totally unrelated. And this is what normally happens. It's something totally unrelated. But then, because my ADHD causes me to be able to cross-apply things and generalize things really relentlessly, I suddenly see how a tiny little thing someone says applies to my whole life, and then it's like mind-blowing, right? So I'm watching this video, and someone had written a comment in or written in an email to this YouTube creator. And somewhere in the email it said something like it was thanking her for what she does on her videos and just kind of expressing how important it is or how helpful it is or how it made that person feel. And I got like secondary dopamine from that. Like I got secondary enjoyment from the way this person said that they felt and the response that the YouTube creator had to reading this person's words. I was so inspired by that, and I feel like that just like jump started my motivation to make these videos. I filmed 2 videos today, and I had such a hard time getting myself just like in the space of mind where I could actually do all of the prep that it takes to film a video. It's not an overwhelming amount, but sometimes it's an overwhelming amount. So I was having a hard time getting there, and I was just kind of watching this video and listening to it while I was doing chores, procrastinating, filming, of course. And this person said this thing, and it just made me feel like dopamine that inspired me and motivated me and allowed me to then move forward and do the thing, which I think is what happens in normal brains and typical brains, is that the dopamine that you get from anticipating doing a task helps you to then start doing it. Whereas I think that with dopamine dysregulation, we don't really have that benefit sometimes, maybe a lot of time, maybe all the time. And so I felt like it was like a little hack, like I was like cheating almost, but I was cheating just to be, it's like taking performance enhancing drugs just so you can perform at like a standard, typical, non-juiced up human level. That's what it felt like. So, because when I heard these words, suddenly I was reminded of all of the words that you guys have said in your comments on various different videos that I've made. And it just made me remember why I make these videos and remember how good it feels to feel connected to people with similar experiences, and remember how exciting it is when people comment and tell me about their ideas or their experience or where they're at. And it kind of just gave me that like preemptive dopamine so that I could do it. And it seems like such a simple thing, but I was thinking, okay, how can I harness that? I noticed that it worked. And so how can I harness it and use it in the future, standardize it to my life, maybe even in a way that I could explain to someone else and they could make use of it. So here's what I came up with. It's very simple. You probably have already guessed what it is. It's nothing exciting or mind-blowing, but I think that if we can get in a habit where when we're feeling unmotivated, but there's something we either want to do or have to do, Because sometimes you can be very unmotivated to do a thing that you really want to do. That's the torture of ADHD, is it not? So I feel like when we find ourselves in that position, if we can just become aware and maybe build a mental habit around, okay, I notice that I want to do this thing or have to do this thing, but I'm feeling very unmotivated. I feel overwhelmed. I feel like I can't do it, and I need a thing to push me over the edge into being able to do it. And then from that place, knowing that we can jump to a solution, which I'm going to propose as being finding some content, finding a video like I did, finding a podcast or something along those lines, even maybe a book or a blog if you are so inclined, that will help you to create those feelings. And what you're looking for is the feeling that you're hoping to feel when you're done with the thing, or even what you feel when you're in the middle of it and you know you have enough momentum to keep going and to finish it, right? So you're putting yourself in the place of you who has accomplished the task, and you're benefiting from the happy chemicals that you get when you imagine yourself being in that place. And it makes me think of this concept that I think of a lot, which is that I feel like as people with ADHD, so much of our struggle is fighting against our brains so that we can use it to work for us. I was really scared I was going to mess up those words and get them in the wrong order, but I did it. But that's the thing, like, if you're living in a world that was designed for you, you can more or less, to some degree, travel through it, knowing that your brain is going to interact with the world in an expected manner. But if you're living in a world that wasn't designed for you, then you have to fight against your design just enough to be able to utilize what is available to you in the world. And so that's where I think all these little hacks, all of these little exercises can come in handy, is in not fighting against our brains as though they are bad, but just fighting against the things that make it difficult for us to live in the world in the same way that other people do. So what might need to come first in this little activity or this exercise is maybe I'm all about writing things down. So maybe you write down the goal that you have in this tiny little example of a task that you need to complete. And maybe your goal is a feeling or an outcome. And so you write down, I want to feel accomplished in XYZ. Or maybe it's an outcome like a clean house. And I utilize this method a lot without even really thinking about it. I think of it more as body doubling, but it probably serves another function, which is that when I watch a cleaning video, not only do I feel like cleaning because my mirror neurons are like, hey, we're cleaning, let's go. But also I'm putting myself in the position of this person that I'm watching obtain a clean house. And then at the end of the video, I'm watching them have a clean house and I'm hearing them talk about how nice it feels to have a clean house and show the after images about how clean the living room is and how clean the sink is right after doing the dishes and things like that. So I think that it can be something like that, like a practical outcome that you're just writing down like what you want to happen. And even just that, I feel like so many times can motivate us to believe in ourselves and to feel like we can do it. And it's such a subtle difference. Like, it's such a subtle difference in your brain with such drastically different outcomes. If you have that little bit of motivation, you can do anything. And if you don't have it, you feel like you can't do anything. Like you feel like you might even not be able to get out of bed, right? So I'm always looking for little things that can help because it just feels like you have to game the system sometimes with your brain. But that is my tip for today. I hope it's helpful. I hope it makes sense. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you utilize a tactic similar to this one, and let me know if you try it out. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.